Peel District School Board has been under external supervision for 2 years because of systemic issues of how staff treated racialized students, the resources and the opportunities that they get. City News reporter Cynthia Mulligan joins me now. You've been looking at progress.
This was unprecedented when the education minister appointed a supervisor to take control of the Peel District School Board, who had essentially been, after a report found that they were dysfunctional and unable to handle the systemic racism that had been going on. So 2 years later, well, what brought us to this point is many reviews and external investigations that found that these children were being stigmatized, and it was largely Black students, but it was also Muslim, Indigenous students, children who live in poverty. And the reports found that there was outright racist terms used against them, and that there was this constant underlying theme, like a 4-year-old child, if he was perhaps acting up, he would be called a gang member. And this is like at 4 years old, where, as one person said to me, a white child, they would say, well, we have to find ways to channel his energy. So there was always this disparity, according to many, and the community was getting very upset about this. And one trustee in particular was working on the inside. She's a Black trustee, Kathy McDonald herself, and she was calling this out and getting a lot of flack for being a whistleblower and trying to raise this awareness. And one thing that she was telling me, Mel, is, just, for example, gifted programs, because it went even far deeper than just how children were spoken to. It was how they were supported in schools. And gifted programs, for example, the vast majority, like over 80%, are in the wealthier white neighborhoods of Peel as opposed to the other areas. And don't tell me that kids aren't equally gifted regardless of where they live and where they come from. So I'll just give you a little clip here of what the trustee told me, Kathy McDonald, of some examples of racism that she was seeing.
If a Black kid is disruptive, they are criminalized, they are called a future gang leader at 4 years old. You have guidance counselors telling our children, you should be a plumber because university is above your destiny, right? And then you said, you know what? You are destined to be a baby mama.
So, Mel, 2 years later, the Minister of Education, Stephen Lecce, he gave the board 27 directives that had to be followed. Well, out of those 27, 2 years later, any guesses on how many? 9.
Wow.
9 have been completed so far.
So what is next then? So of the 27, 9. So what can be done now?
Well, what has been happening, and it's very interesting because Kathy tells me for the very first time she has hope that change is actually coming. A lot of awareness has been raised. She says that students and staff are now empowered to speak up. There are, for the first time, policies around racism and policies around reporting it. So they're encouraged to speak up and speak out. And principals, like, there has to be written reports on this when incidents has happened. She also says, and this is very interesting, nobody's using the word cleaning house, but a lot of staff have been gone over the last 2 years, from superintendents to the director of education to principals and vice principals. So there is a new wave of people coming in. And they also have a very clear direction on hiring, because 80% of the students in Peel are racialized, but staff, 80% of staff are white. So that's going to take time, but they're slowly trying to change that as well.
It's an important story here. I wish we had more time with you, but please do. I encourage you to watch City News at 5 and 6, and as well follow along citynews.ca for Cin's full report. Thank you.